Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us for this webinar today. We are going to discuss about the next version to come of Galigeo, which is called G19.5, and we are going to see the new features that will be inside, and it will be also the occasion to give you a glimpse about the future in terms of roadmap. So let's start right now. And just as a reminder, yes, if you want to ask your questions, you can do that in the questions or in the chat tab that are within the GoToWebinar interface. And we will take the questions at the end of this webinar. So with this G19.5, we have added a set of new features, and we keep on improving the product in terms of self-service. So we really want the business user to be able to create everything by themselves, without requiring to go into administration, configuration, into some complex panel to do some actions. So we have tried into making these new features the most easiest as possible to use. And we have also improved the product in terms of performance. And we will talk about that a little bit later. So the product is faster and easier to use. So let's start right now. So the first features, which is I would say the biggest one for this release, is the bidirectionality. So of course, it's a feature that is dedicated to the users, to the customers that are using our product within BI tools, like SAP Web Intelligence, like IBM Cognos, or through the Galigeo API. And so one thing that was missing for long right now, and this is, I would say, the main feedback we had from customers, it was the possibility to drive behaviors from the map and cascade it to the rest of the report. And so right now it will be possible. So when you make an action on the map, for example, when you click, when you do a selection, you will be able to use that to filter other charts, other tables, the whole report, etc. And you will have the granularity to decide whether or not you want to filter the map itself, just the chart, etc. And so it will help to really deliver reports that will be capable of interacting. All the components of the report will be now able to interact with each other, and so the user, they can drive their analysis the way they want. And so, as I've already mentioned, it's mainly a feature dedicated to the product embedded within the BI tools, and we will showcase that later in the product demonstration. So the other one, the one we call the Smart Query Builder. So there is already several ways of making filters within the applications, but there it's going to be greatly improved with this new feature. So the main purpose of the map, of course, is to have several data sources overlaid on the same map with different layers of information. But when you want to filter off the data sources, it can be a bit tedious, and you are not sure about what is going to be filtered. For example, when you try to filter that, or the filter is just a mono value, etc., so you do not really have the power to create the filters you want. So now with this query builder, you can, I would say, blend together several criteria, and this is not SQL criteria. And of course, you have an advanced mode for the person that want to go further and do SQL request. But for the other, you just have an interface when you can mix several dimensions with several operators, several values, and then the application is going to compute all of that and to give you the results on the map. And so it can be, yeah, it's really good when you want to really focus on specific features that are important for you and specific, I would say, data on the map, specific areas. And just to talk about the future there. So right now, the tool can be used to filter data, and then you can switch to the spatial selection. So with the tool that you already have in your product, if you have these tools, so ISO distance, drive time, etc. And in the future, you will be able to trigger this spatial selection directly from the query. And so it will be, I would say, a full query builder where you can mix attribute data and spatial data, spatial criteria, in order to get data. But yeah, this will be in further releases. So we have also reworked the Symbology. So in the product, you could already import images, but the problem with images is that you have to hardcode the colors, etc., etc. It can't be dynamic. if you want to apply a color code to that, etc., then you have to prepare in advance the color yourself. I don't know, in Paint, in Photoshop, etc. But right now you will be able to import directly vector symbols in the product. And so the application will be able to dynamically set a color, a size, a border to them, etc. So it's now easier to create your own library of symbols that can be reused in all the different thematics in the application. And we have also renewed the collection of symbols we were offering. So before that, the collection was, I would say, a set of different shapes, etc. Not really, that was really business-oriented, use case-oriented. But right now we have worked to make sure that you have icons for a lot of different use cases. For example, for healthcare, for logistics, for transportation, there will be dedicated icons for already predefined icons in the library for all of these use cases. And of course, the main purpose of that is to improve the storytelling and make sure that what you present on the map will be understood directly by anyone just by seeing the map. So you see a car, you know that it's about car, I don't know about incident, etc. But you know what it's about. The improvements, of course, this is something we do on every releases. So we have improved, I would say, the underlying technology. So this is something you are not going to be able to see directly when you are going to use the new version of the application. But we have worked to make the map be able to, I would say, show more data at the same time and make it faster, of course, no matter the number of data you want to show. And so, yes, you can really focus on your data and not, I would say, waiting for the data to be loaded. And so, yeah, it's up to you to test that with more data. But yeah, we have really improved the technology to allow that. And of course, there is always a bunch of, I would say, new features that are more minor features. So I'm going to just take a tour about some of the main one there. So the first one is map cropping. This is what you see on the top right of this slide. And so this is the possibility to, I would say, hide all the parts of the world that are not really relevant. For example, if you work on the US and you work on the whole US, you are going always to see Mexico and Canada at the same time on the map, which is perhaps something that you do not want. So now you have the possibility to apply a mask, and so you only see the US, and you can define the color of the map, the opacity, etc. And you can do that basically for every part of the world you want to see. It's not limited to the US or to France, etc. And the way it works is that you define a polygon, and then this polygon is used to create a mask around it. The other one is more for the administration panel, the custom roles. So now you can create your own roles. So you know the roles of Galigeo are who can create a map, who can, for example, consume a map, who can use this or that feature, etc. But this is predefined role that we have defined, and now with this version you will be able to define your own roles and say, for example, this person can consume a map, and he can also access, I don't know, the printing. But this person can access the printing and also create map, etc. So you have this possibility. You can also now measure distance and areas, and this is in the annotation panel where you are going to draw some shape, some lines, etc. You will have the distance or the areas of what you have drawn, and of course it can be defined if you want that in kilometer or in miles, of course. And the other one is more for the territory manager, so you might not have that already because it's available as an option. And we plan to do, I would say, a webinar more dedicated on this part because it's really interesting. It's a tool that lets you directly embedded within Galigeo, that lets you manage territory and design your own territories based on your own criteria, and based on your use cases. And now we have improved that so you can share a project in read-only mode. And so there is more. You can now import shapefile directly in the data panel. So in self-service mode, and you can directly pass it the zip. Before that, you were needing to extract the zip file of the shapefile and then get 4 files from the shapefile and put it in Galigeo. Right now, you can just put the zip and it works. And we have reworked the SQL query builder, which is not the same that the smart query builder I've presented earlier. We have improved the cluster visualization. We have improved the way the labels are going to be placed on the map. And there is also a lot of other evolutions, other improvements, and everything will be available in the changelog that will be released at the same time the versions of the G19.5 will be available. And of course, all your features are still there. And this is something we say every time we release a new product. Everything that you have already created will keep on working. So we have not removed a feature. We have, I would say, slightly removed some of them, but the overall features, they are still working the same. So if you are creating heat map, clustering, if you are creating time series, doing selections, printing the map, etc., everything is still in place, and you can keep on using the old map you have created and just improve them with the new feature. And so you can upgrade with peace of mind to the G19.5. Okay, guys, so we are going to jump into the product demonstration. And before I'm going to load the different demonstration, we are going to send you a poll that you will directly receive within the GoToWebinar with some questions. So feel free to answer it. And when the demo will be loaded, we are going to jump into the product demonstration. Yeah, so this poll should be multiple answers, and yeah, it's up to you to answer or not. And the demo will be soon loaded, so that will be fine. Okay, so let's jump into the product demonstration. So right now the poll should be closed, I'm guessing. Okay, and you should be back to the application. Okay, fine. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate, of course, is the bidirectionality capabilities, and we are going to showcase that both in IBM Cognos and into Web Intelligence, because we have both customers and prospects right there in this call that have the one of the product or the other, and so everyone tend to see something that he is used to see. So right now we are IBM Cognos 11. I have this demonstration, and what I can do there, for example, if I click on the polygon there, I can see a button there, which is the filter button. And so this is the kind of button that you can configure. And of course, you can customize the style, the name, etc. there. This is just the way I've named it. And behind this button, you can trigger an action that is going to perform a filter on that. And for example, I've selected one, and if I hit filter, okay, and let me show more, I would say, technically how it works. In the data that you have right here, you can configure what is called a geolink, and this is where you are going to define the actions that you want to make. And so to create custom actions like filtering other charts, there you just need to copy paste that, and of course it will be documented. And you just need to pass the name of the charts that you want to filter, and you have this possibility to select which chart you want to filter. If you have, for example, a report where you have a map and 3 charts, you can say, okay, it's going only to filter the chart A or the B or all the charts, etc. So you have this granularity. And right now, if I switch to the BI platform, we are going to see that you have the same. Oh, sorry, it's not the right tab. That you have the same available. Of course, when you do a selection. So the same there we are in SAP Web Intelligence, and there I hope the bidirectional filtering is going to work. If I make a selection there, for example, let's select these two departments in France. There I can trigger an actions that I've defined there. So this is the name I've gave it. So they are mapped to BI. And if I click here, as you can see, it has refreshed the charts there. It has refreshed the map, not the map, and it has also filtered the tables there. And of course, if I wanted the map to be filtered as well, I could do that. And the way it works is I just need to define there in my input controls which charts I want the input control to have effect on. And so the way it works is quite simple. You create an input control, and then the map can interact with this input control. So when you create a filter on the map, or when you do a selection, when you click, it's going to fill the input control with the right values, and then the input control will cascade it to the different charts. And so I would say to put that in place, it's just a matter of minutes, because yeah, it's almost leveraging only native capabilities of both Galigeo and Web Intelligence, and this is the same for IBM Commerce. So this will be available in G19.5, and I know that this is I would say awaited for a long time by our customers, and of course this will be now available, and we are going to improve the way this feature works in the future to offer more and more possibilities of how the map can interact with the rest of the reports. Okay, so right now let's jump into another demonstration again, and this one is going to be more focusing on the other new capabilities. So there we just see a map. I would say Galigeo map by itself, but of course it could be the same map embedded within any BI tools. As you can guess, this is exactly the same features. So if I just add some context there, and if I show the legend, what you see there is some ATM in the city of Charlotte in the US. And so we have the different ATM, and for each ATM you have the withdrawal that has been made since a specific time. And so you can know, for example, if there are areas where there are more withdrawal than on the other, etc. And you have also the same KPI but aggregated by zip codes. Okay. So right now, if I wanted, for example, to be able to filter this data, of course, if I have within my BI tools, I could have defined some input controls. But if these controls are not available, then the map lets you, I would say, create your own criteria in order to filter the data. So let me show how it works. So within the selection panels, you will now have something that will be called query. And you can create new queries, and this is where you are going to be able to create filters on the data. So when you open it, okay, for example, there you show like ATM, and you say, okay, I want, for example, the ATM that are functional. So the one that are okay as values, and you see that now it has filtered the number of objects that are going to be sent back. And then you can add another one and say, and I want only the one where there is still, I don't know, less than $5,000, we say, in stock for the ATM. And now you see that I only have 62 objects. And if I execute it, you see that now I only have the ones that I selected that are left on the map. And so this is really, really cool because when you have that, you can narrow down your visualization based on several criteria and of course for what you want to do. And if you want to create another one, you see that there it has been stored there, and I forgot to rename the query, but there I could give it a name. Like for example, ATM that are okay and that are less than 5,000 in stock, and I could create a new one and say, okay, no, it's the same, but I'm going to choose the one that are not okay. Okay, oh, sorry. And I'm going also to combine that the same with the one that have remaining that is below 5,000. Okay, and I execute it, and so you see now I don't see the same thing. I see different data, and I could jump between one or another, and so you can create multiple filters, and you can alternate between these filters directly. Of course, you can combine it with the bidirectionality if you are using that into Web Intelligence, IBM Commerce, etc. And directly from the panel there, as you have seen, you have the possibility to launch the filter based on the filter you have made on the map, to cascade it to other components, etc. And so it's really cool because the map allows you to overlay different layers of informations coming from different data sources that are not always linked to each other. There on one place, you can have all the filters available for all your data sources, and then you can cascade it to the different charts. And so this is typically the way it works in the applications, and yeah, this feature will be available in the G19.5. So something I wanted to show you as well is how to create, how to import the custom symbols. So as I've said, for example, there you want to represent ATM, and that is just point on the map. So if someone opens the reports and you do not see for example, the word ATM, okay, so either he knows that the thematics there is displaying ATM, but it's not, I would say, as easy as understand just by looking at the map. And so if I edit, for example, there the thematics, and of course, if I have the rights to do that, I'm going to, instead of displaying a symbol of a point there, I'm going to import my own one. So you see that now in the vector symbols, we have I would say, new icons that we have defined, as I've mentioned, and that are all, I would say, linked to a specific use cases. And there, if I add another one, and let me pick one I have selected already. Of course, you could download, so you can download, I would say, any vector files like SVG that you can find freely on the internet if you want to. Let me select this one. Okay, so you see that it's going to be loaded. If you want to load right now, so you see that there I have my ATM icons. Let me just put that a little bit bigger. Click on OK. Now I have my icons. To the other one, I can just do. Oh, sorry, not this one. I can just do copy to. Yeah, sorry, I did clicked on the wrong part. Okay, let me just do that again. Pick the symbol, pick the ATM, make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And there, click on copy the symbol and apply below. Okay, so now they are all ATM. And if I save that, I'm going here now to see ATM directly on the map. So I could have made them a little bit bigger, but now when you connect and you see the data, you know what you are looking at, and you know that you are looking at ATM. And if you are managing store, you can display stores, etc. And of course, displaying, I would say, icons was already possible in the previous version, but this was images. So for example, in my case, I would have to generate an image of the ATM with already the predefined colors, import them all in the product, and then define one by one the symbols. So right now we can do that, as you have seen in a breeze, to really improve the storytelling of your map and show something that is really relevant for different persons. So one thing as well, and I will end up by that before taking the questions, because yeah, the main purpose of this webinar was really to showcase I would say, some of the core new features. Is one, the possibility to add their directly shapefile within this panel. So before that, you add only CSV, Excel, or the catalog available. So now, if you have the right, you can directly connect to a database or to import a shapefile. And so for that, I've went to the Charlotte Open Data Portal, and I've downloaded the shapefile that contains housing informations. So let me import it. And so you have there available there. And if I import that in the product, what is really cool is that we'll be able to blend together. So there are this new data, and as you can see, it contains information about the number of houses, the median housing, etc. in the product. And if I just click save already, I can now create okay, so it has created one by default. Let me hide it. I can now directly plot what I've imported as a shapefile on the map just by drag and dropping. So for example, there, if I want to say I don't know the number of houses by district in the city of Charlotte, I just do the drag and drop there, and I can blend together, as you can see, now the ATM with the number of houses, and so I can know, for example, if I wanted to see to move some ATM from place to another place, etc., based on the number of persons living there. I don't know the number of tourists, if this was an information, the numbers of stores available, etc. This is typically the way I would do that. So on one end, I have my operational data, the ATM, the KPI associated to that, etc. And on the other end, it's really easy to blend in some external information, social demographic, economical, that you can find basically anywhere on the internet, in the website of the census government of the US. If you are in the US, you have the same in Canada, and basically all the countries all over the world have such data freely available. And then you can improve your business, and you can improve your analysis by overlaying these different sources of information. And so this will be it for the demonstration of the new features. So just one word, this version should be available the last two, I would say, on the date which will be on the last 2 weeks of July, so really soon. And if you are really interested to test it already right now before the official releases, just come back to us after the webinar, and we can see if we can include you into a beta program if you are not included already. So just drop us a mail after the webinar. Okay, so just before switching back really quickly to some few slides before taking the questions, we are going to show you another poll, and the same as the first one. Feel free to answer before we jump back to the slides. Okay. Okay, guys, let's jump back into the presentation. Okay, so just really a few slides. So of course, all the products we have, they are free to try for 30 days. So no matter if you want to try the product in standalone, embedded in SAP, embedded in IBM, or embedded anywhere you want using the API. As a reminder, we have released Galigeo for Numera Discovery as a freemium, so it's free to use. Yes, and if you want to give it a try as well, it is possible to download it. An announcement as well. I know a lot of you are waiting for that for a long time, and we are working now for several months with SAP about SAP Analytics Cloud. And this week we have entered the beta program for the partners. And when for the partners, I mean for the technical partners. And so yes, we will have more info coming soon when we will be really started, and when we will be allowed and able to show you something into the Analytics Cloud. And of course, if you are interested to learn more, feel free to reach out to us. Okay, some time for question and answer. So we have really few time left. I talked a little bit too much, but yeah, Benjamin, do we have some questions?
Yes. Hello, everyone. A quick question about upgrading. Do you need to be on G19 to go to G19.5, or can you be on the previous version?
Yeah, good question. So technically, no, you do not need to be in G19 already to upgrade to this version. And if you have it in G18, it will work fine. And we have already customers that have done that using the beta solutions in development, and that have deployed from G18 to G19.5. And of course, if you are running on an old version like G17 or even earlier, yeah, it's better to first reach out to us and to see how we can make sure that it's going to properly upgrade. But yeah, logically there should be no problem. And with G18 it has been tested. But with earlier version, yeah, it's better to come back to us and make sure with us to make sure that if you upgrade to G19.5, it will be painless.
Okay, perfect. A question about the option that you showed about importing shapefile directly in the product. Where is the data stored? Because you cannot write back in the BI. So how does it work?
So good question. The first thing to be mentioned is that this possibility to import new data on the fly, like I've shown with the shapefile, is something that is an option within Galigeo. So you might not have it, and if you are looking forward to use it, yeah, you can also come back to us, because it's not, I would say, so it's in the product, but it's only enabled if you have the right license. So this first point to be mentioned. And secondly, so when you import shapefile, when you import Excel, etc., everything will be stored within a Galigeo repository on the server where the Galigeo server is deployed. And so it's going to be stored there, but because all of the Galigeo installation is within your infrastructure, the data will remain within your infrastructure. And of course, you can define if you want the file you have imported to make it public or not. If you want to keep it only for you, and this is the default setting, it will be only visible for you and for the administrator, for the person that have the administrator roles. And if you want to remove it at some point, of course, you can do that. Yeah.
A simple question, but I know this one I have the answer. Is there a price for G19.5? It's the same thing as the other version. It's just a simple upgrade. So if you're already a customer, then that's included in your maintenance. And if you're a prospect, well, just get back to us and we'll discuss this offline. I see some other technical questions, but I guess from their side that they're going to be a little bit longer. I don't know if you want to add anything, but I think that the other question.
For the other question, for the person that asked question and we have no time to answer them, we are going to come back to them after the call and take that offline. Of course, if you have some questions, you know where to contact us. Most of you already have our contact. So feel free to reach out to us for any question if you want to speak about something, etc. And this will be it for this webinar, guys. So just before leaving the interface, the GoToWebinar, you will be prompted with a last question, and I think it will pop up into your browser. And the same, feel free to answer, but the question is meant to help us understanding more what you want to see in the webinar, and what you would like to see also in the product in the future, and how you want it to evolve. And of course, we are always happy to have customer feedbacks, because we develop the product in order to make sure customers can get values out of it. So thank you, guys, and thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
And talk to you soon. If you have any question, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, guys.
Bye.